That ain't my money.
That's my money. That's my money right there.
Sir, you've been watching me the whole time.
I seen you take it. I seen you come.
Sir,
just
that
count
is
it.
not me.
If I'm right, it's gonna be around $1,000. If I'm right.
Dispatch, Central 346, status medical emergent. The suspect was in the vehicle that was hit by the train.
Police officers sworn to uphold the law still sometimes find themselves on the wrong side of it. And on top of criminal charges, officers in the departments often face civil action too. We're going to take a look at 5 distinct police encounters that ended with law enforcement at the defense table. Welcome to a special crossover Morgan & Morgan and Law & Crime edition of Sidebar presented by Law & Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. All right, let's start this off because I am joined by a special guest right now, Dan Morgan, managing partner of the mega house firm of Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Dan, good to see you. Thanks for coming back here on Sidebar. Really appreciate it.
Good to be here again.
So police encounters, always a really scary thing, both for the people who are stopped by the officers and also the officers themselves. It's really tough to be a police officer, but look, they make mistakes, things happen, and sometimes it's really bad things that they do and really bad mistakes. Have you defended officers before?
We have defended officers when they've been hurt performing their duties, whether in the line of duty or working on a crash scene or being hit by a car, things of that nature. We've never represented a police officer in defense of a wrongful encounter.
Okay, so let's get into this. We actually want to start now with this situation in Alabama. We have some new information about a story that you might remember. So a 3-judge panel recently ruled that Alabama police officers who arrested a pastor while he was watering a neighbor's plants, they are not shielded by qualified immunity. So first, Dan, let's talk about qualified immunity, right? That protects police officers from being sued when they're doing their jobs, right?
Essentially, yeah. So it pretty much allows the officer to do their jobs and not have to worry about lawsuits that stem from those actions, if those actions are something a reasonable officer would do in likewise situations. So there is some guardrails to the qualified immunity.
So it doesn't give them a full blanket to do whatever they want. And with that, I want to take a look at this body cam video of this incident. So it's May 2022 in Childersburg, Alabama. This is outside of Birmingham. Let's take a look.
Howdy.
Hey man, how's it going?
Pretty good. What you doing here, man?
Water flower.
All right, they saying that, is that your vehicle?
No,
It's not?
it's the neighbor's vehicle.
The neighbors?
314, I'll be on 13.
Okay.
Yeah,
You live here?
no, I don't live here.
Okay. They saying that this vehicle is not supposed to be here and you're not supposed to be
Who's
here.
saying that?
They called about it. I don't know who called.
I'm supposed to be here. I'm Pastor Jennings. I live across the street.
You're Pastor Jennings?
Yes, I'm looking out for their house while they gone.
Okay.
Watering their flowers.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Now, do you have like ID and all?
Oh no, man. I'm not gonna give you no ID.
Why not?
I ain't did nothing wrong. I ain't did
Well,
nothing
you look,
suspicious.
listen, I'm not saying do nothing wrong.
Doc, listen,
There's a suspicious person.
Look, I used to be a police officer in Goldberg. Don't come here with that. Okay?
Look, man, don't do this to me.
Yeah.
There's a suspicious person in the yard, and if you're not one to identify yourself,
I don't have to identify myself. It's not a stop and identify state. That guy know me. He came to my store that got broke in. I live right over there across the street. Who called y'all?
that's what we got to figure out. But
Yeah,
first,
who called?
you
Is
live
a black
here?
man
He
out
don't
here
live here.
warning his neighbor flowers. You think
I'm
me
not
doing
saying
something
nothing
illegal?
about.
You have no right to approach me if I ain't did nothing suspicious or nothing wrong. Told him I'm a pastor. I pastor until I don't hear.
Sir.
You want to lock me up? Lock me up.
Nobody wants to lock you up.
I'm not showing y'all anything. I'm going to continue to water these flowers. I don't care who called y'all. Lock me up and see what happens. I want you to.
Hey man, just come here and talk to us.
I'm
What?
going to water these back flowers is what I'm going to do. All right, who called y'all?
Well, if you would let us talk to you, we can figure stuff out.
You ain't gotta talk.
You know, you're going to catch an obstruction charge if you keep walking away.
You can do whatever you want. Do it. Do it.
We're just trying to talk to you, man. Come here.
313, 314, follow.
I'm 10-4. We got one that's not listening to us. Look, man, let me see your phone. Let me see your phone, dude. Just calm down, okay?
No.
Stop.
I like this.
Okay. We're just trying to talk to you and see.
I don't want to argue with you, okay?
All right, go ahead and do what you got to do, dog.
You
Do what you got to do. Go on and lock me up.
Look, just have a seat.
It's already
not
a
locked
lawsuit.
up, you're
It's
just-
already a lawsuit,
Yes,
dog.
sir. Yes, sir.
It's already a
Okay.
lawsuit.
Just have a seat.
Within minutes of arriving at the scene, police had Michael Jennings in handcuffs, and it turns out that another neighbor had called 911 because she saw a car that she didn't recognize in the driveway while the homeowners were out of town.
If you're a pastor and you're here watering a neighbor's yard, that's fine if you got permission. Do you know that gentleman back?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Does he have
He
permission?
lives right there.
Okay, does he have permission here to be watering flowers?
He may because they are friends.
Okay.
And they went out of town today, so
Right.
he may be watering their flowers.
Okay.
Be completely normal.
Okay,
And that's
is
fine.
that's fine. If he would have said, "Hey, I got this," gave his identification because he's a suspicious person, he said that's not his vehicle; it's their vehicle.
We have
Okay.
a call. Like,
Yeah.
we're here
Okay.
because we're called here. I don't know who called, but somebody did. Called not because of the car, but because we thought we saw someone besides him.
Right. I didn't know it was him.
Yeah,
I'm sorry
I got to
about
keep their
that.
flowers watered. I got to keep their flowers watered while they gone. You okay?
Listen.
And by the way, I won't get to come to the graduation, but we're going to get you signed something.
No, don't.
Listen,
Yeah,
listen,
I
listen,
wanna do
listen,
something.
listen to me, man. Listen to me.
We are
Anytime the
actually
police come out and they
She'll
say
bring it, Savannah.
we want to identify you, you have to identify yourself because there's a reasonable suspicion. There's a reasonable man. There's
That
a
has to
vehicle.
commit a crime.
There's a reasonable suspicion that you're here. There's not a crime.
Yeah.
If you would have said, yeah, here's my name, here's everything, we were like,
I told
okay.
him my name. I
You
don't
didn't
have to
tell me
give
your
him-
name.
I decided, he asked me who I was. I said,
You didn't give it to me when I first
Pastor
asked.
Jennings. Pastor Jennings.
That's not a name.
But
That's
still.
a pastor.
Yeah.
I need your
The way
name.
y'all handle this situation was totally wrong.
Well, listen,
You racial profile.
we're not
put it on
racial
there.
profile.
Yes, you did.
No, sir. No, sir. We're not about
I
that.
told
okay?
you I was here watering the flowers. But it's
How do I know that's the truth?
Because I
Anybody,
had the water hose in my hand. I was watering all the flowers.
anybody can pick a hose pipe up.
He is going to be so pissed when I tell him I got arrested watering his flowers.
You'll see the charge of, I guess, disorderly conduct, the failure to obey a police officer. He refused to give any information.
He said he's not going to give me his social, but he gave me his name and date of birth.
Okay, and she's saying the same thing. She won't give her name.
Her?
Yeah, because he got arrested.
Jesus.
So we'll just go by the computer on there.
Okay.
And I write a statement with it. He told me, I tried to explain it to him.
Right.
And he said, I'm talking to him like a boy. I said, if you'll just listen to me, you'll be an audio and video recorded. What we're trying to do is identify yourself and what's going on here. He wouldn't even let me. He wanted to yell over me and say, we're racial profiling. I'm talking to him like he's a boy.
Nobody was doing that. What's the charges? So just obstruction?
Disorderly or obstruction. Obstruction.
I'll just do obstruction.
Obstruction of governmental operations.
Yeah.
We're here to investigate a call, and he wouldn't give us his
Yeah.
name or any other thing. Yeah, he told me he was trying to call the owner, but still, I need his name. You know, we gotta have his name.
Yeah.
I'll take him over to the PD for you.
Yeah, I'll go get gas.
So Jennings was charged with obstruction of government operation. He was taken to jail. He had to post a $500 bond to get out. A few days later, the charges were dismissed with prejudice, which means those charges can't be filed again. Now, as you heard in that body cam, he filed a lawsuit against the city and those 3 police officers. He alleged his Fourth Amendment rights were violated when he was unlawfully arrested. He's also seeking relief for retaliatory arrest in violation of the First Amendment and false arrest. In his suit, it states, quote, Defendant Brooks told Pastor Jennings that they have had a right to identify him and he needed to listen to them and shut his mouth. Pastor Jennings told Defendant Brooks they need to listen and he needs to shut his mouth and not to talk to him like he is a child. Immediately after Pastor Jennings expressed his discontent of how Defendant Brooks was speaking to him, Defendant Smith decided to arrest Pastor Jennings. Defendant Brooks concurred with Defendant Smith and told Pastor Jennings he was going to jail. Last December, Chief District Judge R. David Proctor dismissed the case on the basis of qualified immunity, but a 3-judge panel with the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals disagreed, revived the lawsuit unanimously. They agreed that the officers lacked probable cause to arrest Jennings. The 11th Circuit Court decision said that according to Alabama law, officers have a right to request the name, address, and explanation of a person in a public space if he reasonably suspects that that person is committing or about to commit a crime, but an officer does not have a legal right to demand physical identification. So Dan, that is a big case with a lot of implications moving forward. What's your take?
I think it's, the law is the law. A lot of times what we've been seeing is the Fourth Amendment. That's kind of one of the cruxes of these cases. Can a cop just stop you, demand you to stop and frisk? Is kind of a law that we see in New York and other places too. If they think there's a weapon, they're allowed to stop and frisk you to make sure and check you out and then send you on their way. Also known as a Terry stop, they call them. But there's a lot of racial profiling that goes on in it. So there's been a lot of push and pull with the court systems on how to handle those cases. But again, the qualified immunity is a federal law. It's not a state by state. So this is across the board with federal law. In this instance right here, it seems that everything was done by the books, by the pastor. He did give his name. He did, they say he was a suspicious person. He went with it. The law says he doesn't have to give his physical identification, which is the reason it seems he got arrested here. So it's lining up in his favor, it seems.
So I mean, this will go eventually to a trial. This is just being allowed to move forward. But it seems to me the officers could say, you saying I had no probable cause to believe a crime was being committed. Well, we got a report of a suspicious car. We see you watering the plants. We don't know if it's trespassing or not. But at the same token, he said I'm Pastor Jennings. He does seem to not, the law seems to support he didn't have to provide his ID. But wouldn't the officers have a right to say, we suspected a crime might be occurring? No?
I think everything that led up, there was definitely suspected of a crime. Someone called, he's in the yard. Even though he does have the hose in his hand, it looks a little bit better for him, but that could be a criminal could pick up a hose every time they see a cop now coming and say I'm watering flowers and get out of jail free card. So, but I think there could have been a little bit more investigation, which they did, where they talked to the other neighbor. Oh no, he does live here. He actually might have permission. And they kind of start peeling back that onion layers, but they still brought him to jail anyway and said he was obstructing and all that. So I think to a point they still. It could have gone either way, but they didn't have to bring him to jail. They didn't have to arrest him. They didn't have to go through all that. But I think that's where it gets murky for the officers.
Yeah.
Hey there, everybody. So I want to thank Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring this episode of Sidebar. Always love talking about them. Now, here is the incredible thing about Morgan & Morgan, and one of the reasons why I like talking about them so much.
Hey, say something about our big wins.
You're not supposed to come on camera. The reason Morgan & Morgan, America's largest personal injury law firm, is so big, and I'm sure you can guess it, is because they win a lot. And don't
forget huge verdicts.
Yeah, they've won big verdicts. $6.8 million in New York, $26 million in Philadelphia. You see, the thing about them is they don't settle for lowball insurance offers from insurance companies, which is something.
Mention that you can submit a claim from your couch at home and on your phone.
Dan? They've completely modernized the process by submitting your claim, talking to your legal team. It's all done straight from your smartphone. Again, that's something that
8 clicks or less.
8 clicks or less. Yes. You can see if you have a case in just a few minutes.
1,000 lawyers. We have over 1,000 lawyers.
All right. You know what, Dan? If you really think you can do better, maybe you should just do it yourself.
What Jesse was getting at is if you've ever been injured in an accident, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. You can submit a claim in 8 clicks or less. To start your claim, just visit forthepeople.com/LC Sidebar.
You came a little too close to me. It hurt me a little bit. I'm probably actually going to have to hire you guys now, but that was well said. That was well said.
All right, next we're going to go to Platteville, Colorado. This is north of Denver. And that's where an alleged road rage incident ended with a woman handcuffed in the back of a police car when it was hit by a car. Let me explain. September 2022, police were responding to reports of a road rage incident and pulled over Ureni Rios Gonzalez. Someone called 911 to say she was waving a gun at them on the highway. So the first officer on scene, Sergeant Pablo Vasquez, parked behind the suspect's truck directly on train tracks. Keep that in mind. So 2 police officers from nearby Fort Lupton arrived to help, including Officer Jordan Stanky. And the officers had then 20-year-old Rios Gonzalez get out of the truck.
I'm right behind you, Vasquez. I'm going to your passenger side. Dispatch left in 346, one at gunpoint.
Driver, let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Put your hands out the window. Put your phone down.
hands out the window. Keep coming back. Keep your hands up. Keep coming back. Keep coming back to the sound of my voice. Keep coming back. Keep coming back. Keep coming back. Keep coming back. Stop right there. Get down on one knee and then the other.
I got cuffs.
Go ahead.
Good? Keep your hands above your head.
Don't move.
What's going on? Why am I being... We'll explain everything in a second.
Can I get my cell phone, please? No one else is in the truck, sir. Can I please get my cell phone?
We'll get it for you.
Don't worry about your cell phone.
Where are you taking me?
We're taking you to the car. Come on.
Why? What?
Do you have anything on you that's going to poke me, stick me, hurt me?
No, ma'am, but can I please get my cell phone?
We'll get your cell phone in a second. Is there any weapons in the car?
Ready?
No, ma'am, there's nothing on.
There's no weapons in the car? Okay.
So the patrol car that Stanky just put Rios Gonzalez into is Vasquez's vehicle, the one that is parked on the train tracks. So despite Rios Gonzalez saying she doesn't have a gun in the truck, the officers, they search it anyway. And as they do, I think you can imagine what happens.
It took her a very long time to pull over. I'm going.
Did you see her toss anything?
She could have because it took her a long time to pull over. I'm going to put my rifle away. I'll come back to it.
All right.
She could have because when I was behind her, she was driving slow enough.
Yeah.
So she could have tossed something, but I let her
Tossed it out the window?
She could have out that window, but who is that? Hart?
No, that's Tom Track. Oh my God!
Move your car! Stay back!
It's a 346 patrol car was just hit by a train. Dispatch up to 346. Status medical emergent. The suspect was in the vehicle that was hit by the train.
Yeah, that patrol car was hit by a freight train with Rios Gonzalez trapped handcuffed in the back seat. The SUV was flung off the tracks and into a ditch. According to her attorney, Rios Gonzalez could see the train coming and was screaming for officers to let her out of the locked car, but they didn't hear her. Dan, that's nuts.
That's insane. That's crazy.
How did they not know that was a possibility? Well, and they hear the train and they almost like don't realize it's coming?
It's like, I hate to say it, but a deer, stuck in the train light right there. The officer had her right, almost like he could open the car and let her out. But I mean, that's back to the qualified immunity. I mean, what's foreseeable? What would a reasonable person do? I don't think a reasonable person would park on a train track with someone in the back seat locked in there and get out and walk around and search a car.
You could say it's a traumatic situation, but look, she miraculously survived this. And Officer Vasquez, I gotta say, seemed a little nonchalant when explaining what happened when talking to another officer.
One of the left-hand officers said, I'll be on your right side. So she's on the right side. I started giving her commands. She came out of the car, so she complied with everything. I did tell her to put her phone down. She complied. We cuffed her, and I didn't think the left-hand officer was going to put her in my car. I just didn't, and she did. She put her in my car.
So what left-hand officer put her in?
The female officer left.
She's still here?
She's still here. Because her car was right.
Kingsburg 622, copy on Welfare Check 500.
I'm still concentrating. So then now once she's... Well, I didn't know she was in my car because I remember when the train hit, I said, was she in my car? And she said, oh my gosh, she was. Okay. So I didn't know that she was in my car anyhow. She was put in my car. We cleared the truck, and then we cleared the back. And then as it was clear, we just started going back, and then the male officers with the glasses.
Yeah.
He's like, train. And then I hear that, and then I start moving this way, and
You're not injured, right? You weren't anywhere near in the car or anything like that?
My blood pressure's up a little bit, but that's it's just because I
think that's the best you could have had out of that. So
I think it's just because she was in there, but the one good thing is the female officer put her. That's my chief calling me. put her on the wrong side, which was saving grace. Because if she would have put her where the prisoners go,
on the passenger side. Okay, so she put them over there. Okay.
It's a miracle she's alive, as you just heard. If she was put in a different part of that car, serious possibility we would have a different result, because a lot happened in the days and the weeks that followed. Rios Gonzalez, she survived but broke a tibia, an arm, 9 ribs, her sternum. She filed a lawsuit against the cities and was awarded $8.5 million in a settlement. Dan, I am not surprised the city settled here, because what would a trial even look like?
Oh, absolutely. With those damages and all that, you give that to a jury to decide. It could be definitely a nuclear verdict that would come out of that courtroom.
What would the cities, how could they defend themselves?
Well, I mean, exactly. They couldn't, and that's why they settled. That's kind of what you see there. I mean, I guess you would just go back to maybe you had knowledge that the train was shut down or you didn't think it was running, but still, you don't leave the car parked on the train tracks.
Now, Rios Gonzalez still ended up facing charges for the apparent road rage incident that sparked all of this. Now, she entered a no contest plea to misdemeanor menacing and was given a deferred sentence, which means she has to follow all the rules that was given by the court or she'd end up back in jail. Both Vasquez and Stanky, they were fired from the departments, criminally charged. Vasquez entered a guilty plea to 1 count of reckless endangerment and was sentenced to 1 year of unsupervised probation. Stanky went to trial, testified in her own defense. She told the court it was incredibly dark. I was miles outside of my jurisdiction. I was fairly certain that that particular stop was going to end in a gunfight. I never in a million years thought a train was going to come plowing through my scene. She also testified that she did not perceive the location to be a railroad crossing and said that she trusted that Sergeant Vasquez was parked in a secure location. According to the lawsuit, there were red stop signs and railroad white crossing signs, plus a blue emergency notification sign that had the phone number defendants could have called to notify Union Pacific Railroad that there were police activity on the railroad tracks, but they didn't. Stanky was convicted by a judge of 2 misdemeanors, reckless endangerment and third-degree assault, but actually acquitted of the felony of attempted reckless manslaughter. The judge handed down a 30-month sentence of supervised probation plus 100 hours of community service. And during her sentencing hearing, Stanky was emotional and said that what had happened that night has haunted her even to this day. So, Dan, are you surprised by that verdict? Are you surprised that she was found guilty of the misdemeanors but not the felony?
Not really, no. I think that's probably a just verdict and let everything. I don't think that the manslaughter, that's really what was going through her head, that it was going to get to that extreme. Again, her excuse is that she didn't realize it was a railroad crossing and didn't think the other officer would stop on a railroad crossing. Well, she's walking across the same railroad crossing. She's seeing what's going on in the scene too. So I think that's a little bit of a cop out. But I think exactly that the justice that was done was probably fair in light of the circumstances.
Yeah, the judge said she did not knowingly intend to harm Rios Gonzalez. That's why it didn't level up to a manslaughter charge. Well, next, let's move on. We're in Chandler, Arizona. It's July 2021, and a woman called 911 to report that someone had parked an RV in the yard of a vacant home that she owned. So officers, they went to check things out, and they spot Arnold Serrano inside of the RV. When it looked as if he was reaching for something, there was a short standoff. The body cam footage of what happened next shows the confusion around what the officers were supposed to be doing.
See him in the front? See him in the front? Come on out.
He's on the driver's side.
Are we going to give demands? Because he's starting the engine. What are we doing? He's going to ram it. He's going to ram it.
Clear the way, clear the way.
So let me be clear about what happens here. The RV takes off, and then it hits at least one parked car and a tow truck, and the lieutenant on scene actually fired his weapon at the moving RV. Despite being hit by at least one bullet, Serrano did not stop. Police say in his rush to get away, Serrano drove the RV through a red light, causing a massive crash that injured 10 people. The 2 people who were most seriously hurt, a couple named Andy and Norma Ramirez, filed a notice of claim against the city of Chandler and its police department. In fact, Andy was in a medically induced coma for 2 weeks as he was fighting to survive this. The filing alleges, quote, Chandler PD aggressively attempted to pursue the motor home at reported speeds approaching 100 miles per hour, despite posing a threat to public safety and despite the fact that Chandler PD had no information suggesting the unidentified driver posed any immediate threat or harm to public safety, which led directly to the erratic, panicked, aggressive driving that caused the otherwise avoidable injuries. Now, we weren't able to find an update on the progress of that lawsuit, but some reporting indicates that they sued for $19 million. You think there's a viable claim here, Dan?
I do, yes. So we actually have dealt with cases very similar to this one where there's a non-threatening or non-life-threatening kind of emergency that then spills over into a full-on high-speed chase resulting in injury. So there's protocol at each department where if you're not, pursuing a murderer or someone that's got, a kidnapped child or, something crazy, to just stand down, let them go. Hopefully you'll catch them later. A lot of times what happens is these officers engage, which then causes the driver to be even more reckless, like we saw here, then running a red light and causing a 10-car pileup. So depending on the protocol of those officers and what was happening, I would say this looks like a very, very viable claim.
The counter-argument to that would be they are anticipating a dangerous situation. There is this standoff. This person drives off, allegedly. Imagine what happens if they didn't stop this person and that person commits another crime. They'll be blamed. Why didn't you do more to stop the person?
Exactly, and that's why it'd be good to have a little bit more of the background, what that standoff was or what was going on. Was there a gun involved? Is there someone in the RV that they're worried about and that's why they're pursuing to make sure they're safe? But typically, we see it all the time where it could be a low-level drug dealer has, less than $100 worth of weed, for instance. We saw one time that it resulted in the death of one of our clients. So these accidents do happen. The situation gets spiraled out of control pretty quickly, and then once it's done, it's done. There's really no way to put it back.
19 million, though? Does that seem like the right number to you?
Again, I think it said that they were on some intensive care unit and things like that. So a lot of times when you're looking at these damages, is what's the bills? What's the hospital bills? What's the future bills? Is there therapy that's going on? Is the hospital bill already in the millions of dollars? Which is possible. I've seen cases before that have had hospital bills north of $5 million, which probably talks more about the healthcare system than that system. But yeah, you kind of look at the damages, the medicals, the non-economics, and you get your number. And also, you're going to ask for a lot more in the initial stages than probably what you'll get awarded in a courtroom.
And a jury might be willing to award that much.
Oh, exactly. Especially if the circumstances was the guy was, just told to leave and then they spiraled out and then it happened. If it's the guy was a risk, then the jury's probably going to favor more on the police side.
And again, 19 million is what was being reported. We can't confirm it for sure. But how about this? A police officer in North Carolina has entered a plea after stealing $900 from a suspect. Yeah, so we go to March of this year. Charlotte Mecklenburg police arrested Moncrief Moon on a federal warrant and gave him a speeding ticket. So Henry Chapman was the officer assigned to transport the man to the police station. From there, Chapman asked another officer to take Moon over to the jail, and when that second officer was searching him, Moon said he heard the rubber band around a stack of bills snap. Now, Moon said that Chapman was stealing his money, so then a supervisor started an investigation.
There would be no reason for him to show me his pockets and stuff. Like, I know for a fact.
No, I want you to feel
comfortable. I would have
sir.
felt comfortable if your colleagues would have searched you at the exact time where I knew where the money was. Because I seen you kept going in between your legs, and then every time everybody put all of the attention on me, kept moving. I don't know if it's in your door. I don't know where it's at. But just like, look, I don't even care to find the money, but how you know for a fact.
Look. Right. Come here. Come here. Come here. I'm telling you.
I want you to
come here.
You know that.
Okay. Do you see anything?
No, yeah, look, no cap. I'm not even gonna touch it. It's blue hundreds right here. It's all the blue hundreds are right there behind that receipt. Thank you. All that's my money. He didn't have that.
This is your money?
Yes, I heard him crumble it up. Thank you. All
that ain't my money.
Right? That's my money. That's my money right there.
Sir, you've been watching me that whole time.
I seen you take it. I seen you crumble it up. Just count it.
Not me.
If I'm right, it's gonna be around $1,000. If I'm right, and like I told you, I just went to Wendy's. I seen you steal.
No, sir.
If you don't mind, I just want to sit down so y'all don't try to. I don't want to do nothing. All I know for a fact is I know what I know and I seen it. I just wanted you guys to trust me, you know what I'm saying? That's why I was just acting a little irate, but I'm perfectly fine, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to expose you.
That is not me, bud.
Brother, I just seen you steal my money. It was no reason for you to pop my rubber band, brother. It was no reason for you to pop my rubber band off my money.
I didn't pop your rubber band off your money.
I heard it. Me and you just spoke about it. You heard him agree to it when I first got. I said, I heard you did rubber band. You said, oh, I had to do something. It's okay. It's okay. I know. I just witnessed here today. Mr. Chapman went in my money. He separated my money. He was trying to steal it, and I caught him. He put it in between his legs, and as his colleagues approached me, he worked it towards the door. He tried to make it seem like I was lying. I'm not going anywhere.
No,
I'm in full custody of these officers. I'm being detained. I'm not going anywhere. I don't want any problems. I'm not armed. I didn't do anything wrong. I was just pulled over for a traffic stop. He just tried to steal some of my money.
Okay, we're hearing you, but there's no need to say all of
No,
that.
I was just looking at the camera. No, I just know how it goes. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to cause.
My camera's on in for
Yes, ma'am.
alright?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
let's take it down a notch.
Yes, ma'am. I apologize. I'm
We're
so sorry.
good here, okay?
Yes, ma'am. So what are we gonna do about this problem? Because he just tried to steal some money.
No, sir, I did
I'm not trying
not.
to put any allegations on him. I'm not trying to say anything. I'm not using my words like to try to hurt anybody. I just know what I know. And then I don't even like the fact, but I know you guys have like special protocol. I don't even like the fact that he just tried to steal and nobody like stood up for him. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody was like, okay.
Nobody saw anything
But I
that you were
seen
saying,
everything.
but nobody saw anything that you said.
I appreciate it, Mr. Morris. You his sergeant.
Yes.
Yes, he is my sergeant.
Sir, I have 20/20 and I can read. I remember when you called him out. I could tell you everything he said to you.
So you alleging that Officer Chapman did something wrong?
So you guys don't
Listen. I'm telling you exactly what I'm gonna do. Do not parse every word I'm telling you. I'm telling you exactly what I'm going to do. All right? Is that I have to get on the phone. I have to call my supervisors to run it up the chain. All right? But you're still going to jail.
Oh yeah, I understand.
Okay.
I wasn't trying.
But like that's why I'm asking you if you gave them all of your information on how to get in contact with you.
Whew. Now the supervisor takes the suspect into an interview room to get his side of the story.
I was leaving Wendy's. I put my right signal on get over. Apparently, I guess I was speeding or whatever. Got pulled over by Officer Lack.
Yep.
Cool dude. He ain't, do too much. He just told me that he had to detain me due to the fact that I had a federal warrant.
Mm-hmm.
That much I don't know nothing about him. Just, here with y'all. But from there, he was on the dirt bike, so he had to call
a backup officer.
So at that point he could contain us or whatever. Everything was cool. Nobody, I didn't resist or anything. I didn't know what was going on. Still don't. But make a long story short, my property was took off of me.
By who?
By not Lack. What's his name?
Chapman.
By Mr. Chapman. As Lack started bringing out the envelope for the inventory. For my stuff, like my property. I heard the rubber band being tangled with. That's when I asked the question out loud. I said, why would you take a rubber band off the money? And I can't quite remember the answer he gave me, but he confirmed to me that he took the rubber band off the money. And like, it's my property. I'm a man, so I'm going to watch my belongings the whole time, you feel what I'm saying? And like I had stated, when Lack pulled me over, I was eating Wendy's. And that money was bill money. Like, it's on y'all cameras that when my girlfriend pulled up, she asked me for the bill money. So he told her, like, keep the money in my possession, which was, which was cool, which was in you guys, which was in his possession at this point. So as I was being transferred into the car, I heard the rubber band pop. That's when I asked the question, like, oh, like, what you doing? Like, what were you doing with the money? And he was like, basically, like he confirmed that he was doing something, but he just didn't say what, or I don't know if I missed it, but I know we was five of us right there.
You don't recall what he said.
I don't recall, but like I'm saying, it was 5 of us right there. So I know one of the cameras probably picked up on it, or his should have.
Okay.
Which I know his probably was off because he was stealing my money. But he kept like trying to make it seem as if my eyes were playing tricks on me, and I heard the rubber band pop, and the whole while long, on like what you guys will see on your cameras, I was talking to you guys, really at you guys, because I was watching him. And the whole while long, I kept seeing him move his legs. And as soon as I said it and put it out there, he tried to put the money in between his legs and hand her over the stack. When I seen the size of the stack, and Officer Casperon asked me how much money was it, I didn't want to tell you guys the exact number because I wasn't sure what he had took from the stack. All I was sure of was that the way that I placed the rubber band on the money wasn't the same. It wasn't. Because I have OCD.
Dan, you don't hear this every day, but I have to give the supervisor credit here for taking this story seriously. And I imagine also is because that money was found right there. What do you think about this?
It's terrible. I mean, that's kind of when you get the bad, one bad actor gives the whole community the bad name. I mean, it's terrible to see it's going on and it's happening. But it looks like this guy was pretty much caught. He had, I think it was a Wendy's receipt too, wrapped up with the money the guy went to. So it's kind of hard to explain that one away.
What did you think of Officer Chapman's reaction during this? Because knowing what we know now, and we're going to get into it, he doesn't look over at the supervisor, right? He's just staring. I thought his reaction was interesting.
Exactly, yeah. It looks like he kind of, the kid in school that knows the gig's up. He wasn't engaging with the supervisor. He was just telling the guy, the accuser, no, you got it wrong. The guy said, you can look in the car door. I think it's in the car door. He's like, look, you can look in the car. You don't see anything in there. And the guy's like, what are you talking about? There's blue $100 bills right there.
Yeah.
So it just backfired on him. One thing after another.
And he goes, I think it'll be almost 1,000, and it was.
Right there.
So the interviewer here speaks with a supervisor who says that the questioning needs to stop for now.
There's people coming in to speak with you, investigators.
About that situation?
Yep.
Like I told you outside, I said, I apologize. I wasn't trying to make the situation bigger than it was. I just didn't want to be seen as a liar.
Stop.
No, I just seen on TV.
Hey, chill out, man. Stop apologizing.
I just don't want to make
listen here, man. Right is right, wrong is wrong.
Yes, sir.
All right? CMPD takes this seriously.
Yes, sir.
Now, I wish I could say that another way because I feel like cursing right now, right? But what I can tell you is that we take
you heard what I said,
but we take this seriously, all right?
I don't think you guys are all dirty cops.
Chill out. Let me finish my statement here, okay? We take this seriously, all right?
Yes, sir.
So like when I told you that I was going to do everything on my end to ensure that like we get this right, and I was going to call you back. I meant that.
I appreciate it.
Because if somebody's doing wrong, we need to figure that out fast. All right?
Yes,
let
sir.
me see your hands.
Yes, sir. Like I told Mr. Smith, I appreciate you guys.
You thirsty?
A little bit. I appreciate
What you want to drink?
Some water.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Okay, give me a second.
Now, Officer Chapman, back to him, he was sequestered by himself and said that he needed to contact his union rep.
So like this is what's going to happen, all right? We have people coming in. Obviously, they have to talk to you, all right? So I'm going to hold on to your weapon right quick, okay?
Yep. Go ahead. Just take the whole holster off. It's one of them.
QRS. I got it. Sergeant Burke and one of his detectives will come and speak to you, all right? So just chill out, relax. Do you need anything?
No, I just want to apologize to everyone I see, man. One of these things, dude. And I'm sorry.
Hi, brother. Anything to drink or anything now?
No.
So Chapman was arrested. He was charged with embezzlement. He was put on unpaid leave and resigned the next day. This is after 15 years with the department. In September, Chapman took an Alford plea, which means he acknowledged that the prosecution probably has enough evidence to convict him, but he's still maintaining his innocence. It's different than a guilty plea. He's going to be on supervised probation for 2 years and has to do a cognitive behavioral intervention course. Dan, hard to believe that these things happen, but what do you make of that conclusion?
I mean, it's unfortunate, it goes back to really trusting the people that are in your community and serving the community, and then one bad act like that kind of puts a little bit of doubt out there, and then that little bit of doubt can kind of spiral and make the upwelling of what we see in the community where there's just trust issues between the community and the police. So it's definitely unfortunate. You do see these Alfred pleas too. Usually it's kind of like, hey, I'm saying you guys got me, but I'm not going to say I'm guilty. But I think, I mean, obviously it's the right outcome. I think this officer doesn't have any reason to be a police officer until he gets some of those issues worked out.
He looked like he was caught red-handed, even in that last body cam. Any lawsuit that Moon could file against the officer or the police department?
I think you get, there is some back to the kind of the qualified immunity thing. This guy does not have qualified immunity to go in this guy's pockets and take $900. So, I mean, this definitely seems like an illegal search and seizure violation of the Fourth Amendment. I definitely think that there could be some actions brought. Again, what level or what would his reward be for that? Obviously, he got the money back and he went through this ordeal, but I don't know exactly how much it would amount to, but it definitely seems like there is some claims there that are viable.
How about we end with some good news? Would you like that?
Please.
Let's do some
welcome
good news.
change.
So this is out of Akron, Ohio, where a police encounter in August ended with a 2-year-old child being rescued. So police say the toddler was in a car that was left running outside of a gas station when Jaden White hopped inside and took off. When police got the call, they spotted the car and started a chase.
Are you guys on the way?
They're following the car, ma'am.
Huh? They're following the car. They see it?
Yeah, they're following the car.
Oh my God.
Get out of the window. Right. The child's out of the car.
Get the kid.
Cruiser, stop. Get this kid. Get this kid. No, car 9's got the kid.
Hey! Sorry, hey. It's okay, buddy. I've got 2 gallons of gas left, so you want to continue going. I got you, buddy. It's okay, pal. It's okay, buddy. You're all right, bud. You okay? You see me, okay? You with me? Hey. Yeah.
Okay, now the body cam of another officer gives us a different angle of that rescue. Let's take a look.
He's gone on Bellevue. Slow to the south behind his Fern. He's throwing the child out of the car. We take this dude out, take him out with the cruiser. He's throwing the baby out of the window. Alright, the child's out of the car. I got cruiser, stop, get this kid. Get this kid.
I've got 2 gallons of gas left, so you want to continue going. I got you, buddy. It's okay, pal. It's okay, buddy.
Now, we've been focusing so much on mistakes police officers have made or sometimes them doing the wrong thing. This is what police are about right here. Those brave actions, that is incredible to see. And police say, going back to White, that he hit at least one patrol car during the chase, injuring an officer. After several minutes driving around West Akron, White wrecked the car in someone's front lawn, and then he's immediately surrounded. Take a look.
Get him. Show me your hands! Show me your hands! Keep them up! Keep your hands up now! We're gonna get all right, keep them right where they are. Keep them right where they are. Put the car in park. Keep your hands right where they are. I'm gonna back up. Sirens. Cut the sirens. You got me. You got me. Put your hands behind your back. Right on the car seat. Sir, do you have any weapons on you? Do you have any weapons on you?
Do you have weapons on you?
Clear back seat.
These are locked. Skittle, get on your side. Hey, man, quit acting like that, man.
Well, I'm on like 7 birds.
Okay, well, you need to start acting like a man right now.
I'm on like 7. Bring your knees up to your chest.
My way so I can search.
You certainly weren't freaking driving like you were on 7 perks. Like you were passed out. Let's go, man. Get your knees to your chest so we can stand you up. Get your knees. Yes, you can, dude. Bring your knees up to your chest. Let's go. Let me get up, sir. Let me get up. Oh, you want to get up now?
Oh, we want to get up now. Stay awake, man. Stay awake. Yeah, don't fall asleep on us. You're all right.
Yeah. I'm about to kill me today. Nobody's killing you. I'm about to do 10 years. What, I'm about to do like 20 years? No. I don't know. Free me.
And guess what? When officers searched the car, guess what they found? A handgun. So, Dan, before we go any further, your reaction to that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot to unpack there. I mean, the guy, even you saw in the video, he had gloves on. It's probably for fingerprints. He knew he was going in before they had to do some type of crime. He had a gun on him, so he's obviously a dangerous criminal. He's got a 2-year-old in the car, so he's not really knowing right from wrong. And he then also admits he's on, I think it's at 7 Percocets, which sounds like a lethal dose to me. But, I mean, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong in that video for that guy today. It's good that they did get him. You know, we were talking about earlier if you should pursue a car or not should pursue a car. I mean, in that instance, if you have someone's 2-year-old in the back seat, you kind of have no choice but to keep following that car.
And just highlighting the excellent work from police again, so brave, really acting so quickly, because that could have been an even worse situation if they didn't act as quickly as they did. White was ultimately hit with kidnapping, aggravated robbery, firearms charges. He's locked up on a $500,000 bond, and the 2-year-old was reunited with his family. White allegedly put the child out of the car at one point at an intersection and then continued to flee from police. Dan, I go back to this question. Could there be a lawsuit here? Could the toddler's family sue White for endangering the child like this?
You know, I would say there's no law. The lawsuit for the parents would solely be against White. You know, the police officers in this instance did everything right, in my opinion. Could the family come back and sue White? Absolutely. He's in jail on a $500,000 bond and still sitting there, so most likely he doesn't have the funds to come up with anything that was dinged against him. Right. But yeah, would a family take this to court and present it to a jury? Would there be a very large verdict given? I would say the odds are yes. Now, is that verdict collectible? I'd say the odds are no.
Yes, so probably not make sense to go after a lawsuit. But no, yeah, to be clear, police officers did everything by the book. Heroes, amazing story to end on. But there you go. Some memorable police encounters with Dan Morgan. Dan, so good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thanks
really
for having me
appreciate
again.
And that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jesse Weber. I'll speak to you next time.